Hi guys, welcome to the tour of our banana garden. This is where we planted them to start. First I put down compost, and it was about 12 inches of compost, and the grass pretty much grew right back over that. And then I had two large compost heaps right in this corner, and then I planted them. And in this next picture, you can actually see one of the compost heaps behind the chicken hoop, and you can see the little tiny banana pups all planted along in the back there. So I took this video in about December of 2019, and so it's been about 2 years, and now you can see the differences. Thanks so much. Hi there. Welcome to a tour of my banana garden. So some of you guys are probably going to want to grow bananas in your yard. If you live in maybe southern areas of Texas, right along the coast, maybe you could grow one if you can really keep it protected. But mostly they grow in Florida and Hawaii. They are total nitrogen hogs. They really love super dense nitrogen-rich areas. So what I did is I put about 12 inches of compost along this entire area. And then I put two huge compost heaps on top of that, and I let them cook down for about a year and then just kind of spread them out a little bit. It's a little bit hilly in this area because of that, but I wanted to have a lot of different bananas, and that's the best way to go about doing it here, because in Florida we're really sandy soil, and they really like rich soil. So this is right at the bottom of my what I call the stream. It's kind of grown up heavily now, but so water comes down through here. I've got a couple of plants that I was told like water. I don't know if they do. They just are not doing so great. So these are my persimmons. This was a persimmon. I believe it's dead. Of course, I know persimmons drop all their leaves, so maybe it's not dead. And there's a third persimmon right over there. These are just struggling along. I don't know what I'm doing wrong with those, but that'll be another story. So bananas are really, other than loving nitrogen, when you eat a banana, you get a ton of magnesium, vitamin B, vitamin C, potassium. There's a lot you can do with bananas, and I'll go through that in a minute, but let me give you start with a tour. So these are the stalks, and the groupings of bananas are called banana hands. And of course, these are the flowers. The flowers are actually edible. We take these bits off. This part down here, you just take off, and you can slice them up and you put them in your Asian dishes. You can put them, I put them in soup with curry. They're super tasty. Actually, they're kind of almost flavorless, but they're super tasty when you put them in with your curry. So here's another banana hand. This was actually 11 banana plants when I planted them. And I planted them about 1.5 years ago. Here's a sapodilla tree. So each one of these, that was one banana plant. 2 years later, that's where we're at. There's a bunch of baby pups. So here is a pup. And then these are the actual plants themselves. This is probably the original, because it's just so huge. And then the rest of these were pups off of that original plant. This is another set of bananas. 1 or 2 of these. Sometimes I would get a pot, and it might have a big regular banana. And the bananas that I bought, when I bought them, they were maybe this size, about 2 feet tall. Some of them were a foot tall. But you never know what was underground. So underground, in the dirt, there could have been 3 bananas ready to pop up. So at this point, I'm getting nice big hands of bananas. I've already been able to harvest about 10 stalks of bananas. 2 or 3 of them I did great with. Some of them I think I harvested too early. I've read that when a banana has kind of a sharp edge like this, they're not ready. They have to be nice, fat, and round for them to be ready. So what I do with my bananas now, I'm waiting until I see I'm seeing that they're completely round. Like, these are obviously not round. But I'm also looking to see that the bananas have maybe 1 or 2 completely yellow bananas on top. And once they start to yellow on the very first top of the stalk,
that's when I feel like it's maybe time for me to harvest it. I just harvested one from here yesterday because it had some yellow on it. This doesn't look ready. It still has that sharp pointed edge. It's not fat enough. I don't see any yellow on any of those hands. Same with that right there. So my house, when I started planting plants, I was really religious about writing in what everything was. I have a map, a permaculture map, that I have every variety listed, where it's situated. But I did not do that with my bananas because probably maybe 4 or 5 varieties that I got, they were from neighbors and they didn't know what they were. So I thought, okay, no problem. But I did write down the varieties that I bought. I bought a dwarf Namwa, a dwarf Cavendish, a Williams variety, a Goldfinger, a Williams dwarf variety, an ice cream, and the ice cream, I'm supposed to be able to spot that easily because supposedly they have like almost a gray color on the outside. Now here are some bananas that are looking like they're getting pretty close to being ready. It actually has some yellow and they're nice and fat. And look at the wasps right now flying all around on this. That's the pollinator. Now, about once every month or two, I'll come out here and I'll want to be in a vegetative mood. And I'll just cut, usually the parts like this, I'll just cut these off. And I just drop them on the ground. You can see all over the ground I have things like that, because it's just going to decompose right here in place. It'll feed the bananas, the banana babies. When I cut off a stalk, the mother of that stalk is not going to produce anything else. And you really want to give room for your babies. So here's a leftover stalk. I just basically drop what's left right in place. And this will decompose fairly quickly. This probably weighs 40 pounds. It'll decompose pretty quickly, and this is where I cut it off. And that will give space for the babies to grow. Otherwise, that mother is just gonna hog up nutrients. And so bananas aren't really a tree, they're an herb. And this is called the pseudostem. It's just a compilation of, or a collection of their leaves, what's left of their leaves after they come out. And the reason it's not a tree is it doesn't have any woody parts. It's all soft parts. Underneath is roots, but then they also have rhizomes. And the rhizomes, it's a section of root that will shoot new stems up, which will be the pups or the new bananas. And it'll also put down roots for those. So here's another pretty little area. None of those are ready. This is a different variety. Each of these was one variety, so there's 11 groups. You can see some big fat bananas way up there. Those are probably going to be the next ones that are ready. Now, some of these banana plants went crazy. For example, the ones on the outside of this grouping. So the ones along my fence line, I planted them about, I don't know, 15 feet apart. And these are the happiest. The ones that are kind of inside of the bunch, I think they're getting just shaded from each other a little too much. So like these little guys are not getting nearly the sun as the ones along the fence. So they're struggling a little bit more. I might have to actually move some of these out. This was just one bunch and it hasn't even put up a pup yet. And I have dug up a bunch of pups for friends. Here are 2 pups. This is a baby right here, and then here's an older pup. But this is really so shaded in here, I don't know how well they're gonna do. So I have dug up, anybody who wants any of these, I've been sharing them because I really have to thin this out a little bit. I have learned, I worked with one of my girlfriends trying to dig up some of these, and we killed a lot of them, but I've since learned you have to use your Sawzall, and they come up easily if you do that. But look how pretty this is. So tropical. The chickens love hanging out in here at night. Not at night, not after dark, but certainly in like 4 o'clock range, they're all back here hanging out. There's so many bugs back here and lizards. Look how pretty this little guy is. Oh, this one's about to fall over now. I guess I shouldn't have done that. Back here, I also have one papaya tree. It's right there. It's actually 3 papayas at this point. And that is the absolute best papaya I've ever had. I don't like ripe papaya. To me, they kind of have a vomity taste. This one, I picked it bright yellow. It was super ripe. Threw it on the ground for the chickens. They love papaya. And the next thing I knew, well, I had a little bit left in my hand, so I figured, oh, I smelled it and it didn't smell funky, so that I just figured, what the hell, I'll taste it. So I tasted it. It was divine. I would have never thrown that on the ground had I any idea. So every baby that comes out of this papaya, I'm gonna really watch where I plant them, and I'm gonna repopulate the area with this specific papaya. It's bright red inside, and it's super tasty. Even when ripe, there is no funk, no vomity smell or taste. Just that funky taste that's so gross. It was amazing. So I'm so happy that I actually found a papaya that I like when totally ripe. So what do you do with bananas? What are you going to do with your bananas? Let me tell you what you should do. This is just my thoughts. Always eat that red flour. Use that as much as you can. Of course, you're going to use the bananas and bananas flambe. You can make banana ice cream with it. You can have just eating it with your breakfast. But then also these leaves. My dad wrapped a whole pig in one of these. It was probably a 30-pound pig that got wrapped. He dug up he caught a large area on fire. He had a huge fire going, and he dug up an area, and then he put the pig wrapped in banana leaves, huge banana leaves, and I'm talking probably 50 of them, wrapped them in that and stuck it down in the pit of the embers, and then buried it, and it cooked that way for quite some time. I think it was hours. And he ended up, I just remember the meat tasted amazing. The other thing you can do is, I read online, you can actually eat the pseudostem. So this is the pseudostem again. When you chop one down, you can core the inside and you can use that. Now, there comes a time when you have enough stuff growing in your yard that you just don't even need to do that. But I'm going to give it a try. You never know. I might love it. So it's just pretty. I like to sit out here in the afternoon. Just bring a chair up underneath. Great place to catch lizards for the girls. And I really do need to get some of those pups dug up. So all my neighbors in the area need to give me a call so I can give some of these away. Well, thanks so much for coming on the tour with me. And I also want to thank my neighbor Linda. Linda and Harley gave me my first several bananas. And I used to watch her taking one banana at a time off her banana plants. She would take one down at a time. How she managed to keep them with the squirrels around in Florida is beyond me, but she did. So I'll send a shout out to them, thanking them for the treats that they've given me. All right, guys, thanks a bunch. Bye-bye.